Hello. Hello. Starting with a bit of a sing-song. Super excited to support you today. Hello. Okay, so today we are going to dive into the topic of productivity. And we're going to talk about 3 ways to become more productive using NLP, and how we can really utilize some elements of NLP to really become more productive in what we do and get more stuff done, basically. Now, there are tons and tons and tons of things that I could pull from NLP that can help us be more productive, but I've really whittled it down to 3 things that I think are going to really support you to be able to implement as soon as possible, straight away, and action as well. So, as always, I'm Rebecca Lockwood, your neuro-linguistic programming trainer, hypnosis trainer, and a breakthrough coach trainer. And I'm super duper excited to be talking to you today about 3 ways to become more productive using NLP. So let's dive in. So number 1, there's something that we use in NLP, and by NLP I mean neuro-linguistic programming. And there's something that we use called anchoring. And anchoring basically is creating a resourceful anchor, which is what we're going to do. We're going to create a resourceful anchor to support you to change your state. Now, the concept of anchoring comes from the what's the word I'm looking for? The trials that were ran, the research that was done into Ivan Pavlov and the dogs. And what happened, just to give you a bit of background, what happened was they were studying, that was the word I was looking for. And Ivan Pavlov was studying how dogs behave. And what they found was that dogs behaved in a certain way when they were fed, right? So the people who were conducting the study would wear lab coats, and the lab coats and the food, so they'd feed the dogs with the lab coats, and this would create drooling from the dogs, right? What they then noticed was that just the lab coats without the food would also create this same response, right? Of the dog salivating, the dog drooling, because they associated the lab coats and the food, and this created a certain behaviour, a certain state. And so anchoring really is backed up by the research, by the science, by the studies that were done by Ivan Pavlov. And if you'd like to learn more about that, there is some more content on our platform, and we talk a lot more in depth about it within our NLP programs. So just to give you an overview then, how anchoring works is we create a specific anchor, for example, like the lab coats or the food, right? And this sets off a specific response. Now, to keep things simple, we tend to use knuckles in NLP, and to create a positive resource anchor or a stacked resource anchor, we tend to use the knuckle, just because it's very simple, it's straightforward, and now you know why you've got knuckles. Yeah, no. Okay, so what we can do then to help ourselves be more productive is we can create a specific state and anchor that onto the knuckle. Okay, so for example, if you ever felt like you were procrastinating, or you didn't feel like you wanted to get stuff done, or perhaps in the morning you're waking up and you just are feeling a bit meh, right? A bit meh. And you want to, instead of feeling that way, you want to feel really positive, you want to feel in more of a resourceful state. Okay, so I'm going to talk you through a really simple process of how to create an anchor, just a basic anchor we're going to do today to help you be more productive. Now, for me, if I want to feel more productive, the kind of state that I would associate with that is motivation, right? But this might be different for you, and that's okay. You just pick this specific state which is going to support you to feel the most productive. For me, that's motivation. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to install the state motivation onto this knuckle here, okay? So I'm going to ask myself about the last time I felt motivated, and then I'm going to step into that time of feeling motivated, and I'm going to then apply the anchor onto the knuckle, okay? And again, I said this is really simple and it's really straightforward, but it's super clever and super helpful for helping you be more productive. And we teach the full anchoring techniques within our NLP program. So what we're going to do then is we're going to imagine a time in the past where I felt really motivated, really, really motivated. I'm going to go back to that time, see what I saw, hear what I heard, the feelings of feeling really, really motivated, and I'm just going to apply the anchor onto the knuckle. Really, really motivated, and then I'm going to release it. Okay, so you can do that a couple of times just to strengthen the anchor. Now what happens is if you ever feel like you're procrastinating or not being productive, you can just fire off this anchor. I can feel myself getting excited and motivated now, because I have previously done a lot of work with this knuckle. And you can insert whatever word you want, so whether it's motivated, excited, whatever state resonates with you and fits with you the most. Okay, so the first thing then, the first way to become more productive using NLP is to create a resource anchor for yourself, and we can do that on the knuckle. It's a really simple way of doing it. Okay, so the second thing that we can do then to help ourselves be more productive by using NLP is state positively what we are working towards. So state positively what we are working towards. So basically just say it positively, right? So for example, if we are working towards, say in a specific day or a specific week, we're working towards something specific, we want to make sure that we're talking to our conscious and our subconscious in a positive way. And also it's really important that we're moving towards that thing, right? So for example, I should have wrote down an example before I started recording, but to give you an example, if I'm working towards weight loss, right? So say I want to lose some weight and I'm saying to myself, I don't want to be overweight, right? What's happening is I'm moving away from that goal. Away from that goal, right? Because I'm saying I don't want to be overweight, right? So I'm moving away. So it's not stated positively, and also it's an away from. Now, the reason why this is important is because, especially at the subconscious level, when we talk to ourselves, we are like, if you think about this, right, our goal's here and the motivation to achieve it is here. We're moving towards achieving the goal. So the goal is I don't want to lose weight. I don't want to be overweight. So I'm moving towards that. I don't want to be overweight. And then all of a sudden what's going to happen is the motivation is going to drop out because it's an away from, right? Because I don't want to lose weight. So you're going to get to some point where there's nothing pulling you towards achieving that. If you state it and positively and as towards, what you'd say is I have lost half a stone, whatever. And this is just a random example that I'm giving you, right? I have lost half a stone. And what happens is you're moving towards that. It's a motivation, so it's pulling you towards, right? And this applies for any goal, whether it's whatever it is, weight loss, money, anything, right? It doesn't matter what it is. And it's really important the way that we describe it and the words that we use, because again, if we're moving away from that goal, the motivation is going to drop out, whereas if we're moving towards it, you'll get to a point where you'll be pulled even further towards it, right? Because of the way that you stated it. Okay, so the first thing was to create a resource anchor, really simply using your knuckle. The second thing you can do is state positively what you're working towards, state positively, and so that you're moving towards it. And the third thing is make your goals really compelling, right? And we can do this in a number of different ways, but there's one thing that I'm going to explain to you that's going to be really helpful. So when we imagine things and when we create goals or we think about things that we're doing, what we do is we create an image in our mind or a movie in our mind of that thing, right? So if I said, right, my goal was I've lost half a stone, so let's just use that as an example. I've lost half a stone. I've got an internal representation in my mind of that goal, okay? And some people can feel something, some people can hear something, some people can see something, some people all three. Some people see, hear, and feel, right? But there's still an internal representation in your mind of you achieving that goal, right? So what we want to do is we want to make it really compelling. So if you think about the image in your mind, some people will be more motivated towards it if the picture is really big and bright. Other people will be more motivated towards it if the picture is like a panoramic picture and it's like absolutely life size. Some people will be more motivated towards achieving it if it's a movie and it's moving, and other people will be more motivated towards it if it's still. So what you want to do is you want to make that internal representation as compelling as possible so that you want to move towards it and it's exciting and it excites you, right? So let's recap then on what we have talked about. So the 3 ways to become more productive using NLP. Number 1 was to create a resource anchor, really simple, basic resource anchor, using something that's going to support you to feel more productive. Number 2 was state your goals positively and make sure that you're moving towards them so the motivation is still hype. Number 3, make your goals really compelling by using the internal representations that you have in your mind. Just, play around with them and get really creative and make them as compelling and so you feel as excited about it as possible. So that's it from me. I'm Rebecca Lockwood, your neuro-linguistic programming trainer, hypnosis trainer, and breakthrough coach trainer. I've popped a link in the show notes as well to our Change Your Mind, Change Your Life training. So if you want to check that out and learn more about NLP and how it can support you to change your mind and change your life, feel free to check that out as well. So have an amazing week, and I'll be live again with you over on Monday at 1:30. So I'll catch you then.